Mm.
Oh, good afternoon. Today we're up in the Great Smoky Mountains and I've been testing out the Campark TC14 Cellular 4G wireless trail camera for the last week or 10 days or so, and it's been working really well. It's very similar to a lot of the Campark trail cameras, particularly like the T85 or the T86, with the added benefit of the cellular ability. It can work as a regular trail camera, but you're obviously paying that extra money for the cellular capability. When you open it up, it looks the same as most of the recent Campark trail cameras, 8 AA batteries. It'll also take a solar power supply, but in this case, because it's cellular, it takes a 12-volt power supply instead of a 6-volt power supply. So you want to make sure that when you get a solar power supply, which I recommend if you're going to use a cellular camera and leave it outside for long periods of time, that you get a solar powered one and make sure that it's compatible at 12 volts. As you put in your SIM card here, and the SIM card comes with it. It's a SIM Hero, and that's the kind of card that I've been using on a prototype 4G Campark trail camera for about 1.5 years, and it's worked great. What you do is you go to the SIM Hero website and you enter in your SIM number and you create an account and activate your SIM card and buy a data plan. It's usually the cost-effective plan is a year-long plan, and I think mine is like 400 megabytes for $39.99. That's valid for a year. And of course, when it comes to cellular data, you know, data is money. So the more data that you push from your camera to your phone, you know, the more you're using up your data plan. So I'll talk a little bit later about file size and file size management, depending on what you want to accomplish with your monitoring and how much money you want to spend and how much quality data you want to see on your cell phone. So we'll go briefly through the menu. I'll put it in the setup mode. Now when you go to the menu, the only real difference between this and any other trail camera like the T85 or T86, which is similar to, is that you have options for the cellular network. So you go to the cellular modem is on. You can check your connection status, and you can see that I'm connected, and you can see the signal strength is 65%, which is pretty good. I'm up here in the Great Smoky Mountains, can't complain with that. And so that's pretty easy to connect once you set up your SIM Hero card and your account and get it activated. And then your status QR code, this is what you scan with your camera to calibrate your app with this particular trail camera. So when you're setting up the app, you actually go and take a picture of this QR code with the camera using the app, and then it connects and it works fine. So that's the main thing to remember, is to go through this step, and it's pretty simple. The instructions are actually pretty well written. And then your upload frequency, and it can be instant, or once per day, or twice per day, or hourly, whatever you want. It depends on whatever the sensitivity of it is that you're monitoring. And you know, if you want to have instant notification, if you're using it for security or something that you're really interested in, you can do that, or you can have it done once a day. And I leave mine on instant for now while I'm testing it. Now the upload frequency doesn't really impact the cost or the use of the data. What really impacts how much data of your data plan you use and how much it costs is your upload photo resolution, which you can set as small as 480 by 270 or as large as 1280 by 720. Now when you use 1280 by 720, you're going to use up, you're going to use up your data a lot faster. I kind of opt for the middle range, which is 640, and then because I have it set for photo only, it's not giving me an option for the video. If I would have set video, then it would give me an option for the video. And you know, that's kind of up to you. I wouldn't really recommend taking videos and uploading them through the 4G network unless it's something really critical that you're monitoring and you realize that it's going to use up your data plan. So that's it. It's pretty simple. You know, you activate your SIM Hero card, and then you scan, whether you have an iOS or an Android, you scan this to download the CamTrap app. Then you open the app and start the process to register this trail cam by using the QR code that I just showed you. And usually within about 5 or 6 minutes of waiting for everything to go up and, through the network and process. And then you'll come back here and you'll get your status. And right now I'm showing signal strength of 87%, which is really quite good. So anywhere that you have cell service, you're going to be able to put this trail camera and be notified if there's anything that triggers the motion alarms and takes a picture. And it'll send it right to your smartphone on your app, and I'll show you a bunch of examples. So just to go back to the menu, that's pretty much it. Everything else in the menu is standard things that you would set up for any trail camera. If you want to use it as a regular trail camera, you can set your photo size up to 24 megapixels and your video size 920 by 1080, 30 frames per second. Very similar in quality and performance to the T85 or the T86. I tested it out as a standalone trail camera and it works fine. Now you'll notice here that it says, this is my setting for when I'm not using it as a cellular camera. But if I'm using it as a cellular, then it defaults to 320, which is really small. So when you get a motion alert, they send a notification to your app. Click on the CamTrap wireless and you see you get your battery life, signal strength, how much space is left on your SD card, and how many files you have waiting. And you can see here that where we are up in the mountains, and you can see the current trigger, and then you can see all of your stored videos and pictures. Bottom line is, when you get the Sim Hero card, which I've had really good experience with, you use that, you set up your Sim Hero account, you activate it, you put it in properly into the 4G and turn it on, and usually within about 4 or 5 minutes or so you're going to get a connection with the system and the server and show that you're getting a signal and that your SIM card is good, and then after that you should be fine. And I've really had good luck with Sim Heroes, so that's the simplification factor, is using a good SIM card service. But the Sim Hero that comes with the camera that you activate works fine. And to give you an idea, I think I've got the 400 megabyte plan for 1 year, which is, I think, is $39.99 or roughly $40. So I did a quick look at some of the file sizes. For example, an HD picture, 3840 by 2160, used about 1.5 megabytes, and that's way too big for getting alerts. That's going to burn through your data plan. Now videos really use up the data. A 10-second 640 by 360 video used 3 megabytes, and a 848 by 480 10-second video used 4.5 megabytes. So obviously when you're talking about a 400 megabyte service for a year, you don't want to be taking videos. Overall though, the app works really great, and you can just share. Here's a picture of the feral cat on a rock up in the mountains. You can share that. It really works quite well. Quality is, when you talk about a 4G alerting service for your camera, you're really talking about super high quality photos and videos. The bit rate is very low because that's what keeps your file size low, and of course that means that any video and pictures are going to be grainy that are sent through your cell phone. And you can look at your photos and videos, and you can go in and check your settings, and again it gives you your battery strength, your signal, how much space is left on your card, and the last time it was synced. You have your settings, the same settings that you have on the menu of your camera. You can set them here. This is just the overall system settings and the photo settings, but I have it set at the smallest setting. And then your overall system settings. So I found the app and the menu on the phone to work really well. Now the one thing to remember with the cell phone is the cell phone is going to push pictures to you, push notification and pictures to you. But you can't go into the app and expect to get a live view of what's going on. It doesn't work like that. It's not a live view kind of thing. It's just uses the 4G network to send you the notification by pushing it. Unless you put it in a really active location, you're not going to get like tons of alerts on a daily basis. So if you set the image size for pictures at a relatively middle or low setting, then a 400 megabyte data plan for a year will last pretty long. In fact, the last data plan I had that expired in August, I didn't use up all of my data in the year, and I had data left over. So, and that was just in routine use. So, just to summarize everything, it's a good solid trail camera. It's got the good reliable 4G network when used with the Sim Hero card and setting that up as it goes. But overall, I'm very satisfied with the camera. It works really well, and it has a different niche for me. Other of my trail cameras, I want to get like 4K, really high resolution, a lot of videos, real big videos up close that I'll take and I'll process from the SD card on my computer into videos for my channel. When you're talking about a 4G trail camera, you're talking more, for me, more about security and reconnaissance and just gathering intelligence on wildlife and things like that are going on in places that I want to keep track of. And it's kind of interesting. Just a few minutes ago I was finishing up the test, and some elk wandered into the yard, so I opened up the camera, and you can, just like any other trail camera, you can use it like a camera or a video camera, and I opened it up and just took some video through the viewfinder with manually.